guys? Welcome to this episode of the Trainer Feed. My name is Jacques Delagere. These are my hosts, Angel Sanchez.
Hey, what's up?
And David Bravo.
Hello.
How y'all feeling? Good on this dandy Friday?
Very good. Chilling.
Perfect.
Today
this weather, climate warming, global warming even. But today we're excited because it's been the first time in a little while to have a guest back on. This guy, a good friend of mine I've met through 10,000, the clothing brand, Kevin Ung, and we're excited to have him on. He's a real cool dude, and we're excited to pick his brain. So without further ado, let's let him in, and let's get the conversation questions rolling. Kevin, what's up, man? You hear us? What's up, brother? You hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, there we go. How you feeling, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good. These are my co-hosts, Angel Sanchez and David Bravo. This is Kevin.
What's up, man? Nice to meet you. How's it going, Kevin?
Hey, guys. How you doing? Nice to meet you guys.
Thanks for joining us. I know we connected a little while back. I have scratched the surface of your training background, but for our listeners, why don't you bring us up to speed in a brief summary of, your journey into, how you got into fitness?
Yeah, so I went to school originally at the University of Rhode Island. I was studying kinesiology. I was planning on becoming a physical therapist, but like anybody else, I was just getting a little sidetracked, not focusing. I ended up dropping out of school because I was just wasting my parents' money. And then, I was home for a little bit, just like kind of figuring out what I wanted to do. So I became a trainer. So I think in 2013, the summer of 2013, after actually a pretty bad breakup, and I just I wanted to stop feeling sorry for myself. I needed to make some changes with my life, and then got certified, started working at like a YMCA for a little bit, and I was like, I know I can do a lot more than this. And then I ended up working at a small kind of a studio, a little more boutique with a little small group training, a little more hands-on, a little more intimate studio. And then I did that for a few years, and then afterwards I worked at Lifetime for a little bit, went into some more coaching with swimming and doing some more private training online as well as some clients, and then ended up moving out to California and then got my CrossFit level 1 cert. So it's been a little bit of a journey, about almost 10 years of training. So
that's an interesting bio as well. You're free to cuss, by the way, just a heads up. Just
okay, yeah.
Be free to cuss, yeah.
Yeah.
Push it up.
It's been crazy with, girls and trying to not be like sad and depressed, and just wanted to live a better, healthier life and a version of myself, essentially.
Oh, 100%, man. That's important stuff to speak about, though. It's not just cookie cutter fitness and blanking out the noise outside the gym or the fitness facility, right? There's the things that go on outside.
Right. And it's been an incredible transformation. I've been very fortunate to be surrounded by other like-minded individuals like yourself, Jacques, and just, learn and grow and just try to move the needle forward a little bit every day, and how I can not only better myself, but make like a positive impact in my clients' lives and my friends' lives, my girlfriend, and just other people. So I feel like that's 100%. What it's about ultimately at the end of the day.
Awesome. Jacques, do you want to
go ahead, Angel? You can take. Yeah, go ahead, Angel.
Okay, because I had a question about like the transition, because I saw in your bio you had transitioned from Jersey to California, which is almost like night and day in a lot of ways, right? Like climate, probably the people that you're around, and your environment. Can you talk us a little bit about, I know you spoke a little bit about the catalyst with the breakup and just trying to make moves in another direction, but a little bit about how either what were some of the challenges or some of the, like, how did you end up making that decision to just say, all right, I'm going to pack my things up and move over to the West Coast?
Yeah. So I'd been out to California before. The first time was in summer of 2012. Me and a couple of buddies from high school actually drove out. They were participating at some Orange County events with like a pogo stick event. It's kind of like a cool little X Games kind of thing. But the first time I went, I was like, this is definitely my vibe. I can definitely see myself living here. And then I didn't move here until about summer of 2019 after when I was working at Lifetime for about 3 years. And then I just transitioned to get out of there. But, for me, I just, the East Coast, New Jersey, New York, it's a great place, but I just couldn't imagine like growing up and living in the same place forever without me trying to take a leap of faith and do something different, get outside my comfort zone, try and, do something that's never been done before. So it was important to me that I didn't just kind of wing it, that I had a job before I left New Jersey and then went out to California. And then, the transition's been a little different. Obviously the weather's great. The people are a little different. I feel like there's a certain type of energy around the East Coast, or a little more, I don't want to say like more blunt and pretty upfront, but I feel like if you can make it in New York, let's say, I feel like you can make it anywhere. But with the West Coast a little bit, it's a little different. Things move a little bit slower. I feel like people are a little more sun-kissed. They're all about like the weather and a little more laid back, But I feel like there's a reason why they say the West Coast is the best coast. So some of the people here, it's a little different. It's I don't want to say more pretentious, but you kind of have to dig a little bit deeper to find some of those real people and develop those relationships. But that's what makes it fun to kind of learn and kind of figure out like what you're good at, and being vulnerable, but at the same time being real with others out here.
Awesome.
Have you found that the pandemic made a bigger difference?
So yeah, like as soon as I got here, about 5-6 months into the pandemic started, and I was fortunate to find the Deep End Fitness that I coach. It's a underwater training program. A friend of mine who I swam with in college in Rhode Island, she was helping coach the program up in Los Angeles. And then she's like, hey, you got to check this out. Like, I think you'll really like it. It mixes like swimming and functional training, and, you're an athlete, it's outside in a pool or whatever. So when I started that program, I was involved with a really good community. I started living with some guys who I started rooming up with who were also in the military. So I feel like they had like good moral values. They know what it is to like work hard and have discipline and all those other things. So was able to get involved with some of the people in that group, and then, started to hang out with their friends, and eventually started to meet other like individuals who are into fitness. And then I started like learning how to shoot guns. I started going camping, started just, being with other people who are already from California to kind of welcome me in. So
that's pretty cool. How does it,
yeah.
Can you take us through a typical session in the Deep End Fitness? So you said it mixes swimming, functional fitness, and how does it work? Do you do the functional fitness stuff first, then do more, swimming based exercises, or is it more of like a mesh?
Yeah, so I'll give you a little background about it. It was created by two former Marine raiders who are water safety survival instructors, and they kind of use some of the lessons and principles that they learned in the military to kind of make it public or whatever. But every session starts with a circle of trust. So what that is everyone lines up in a circle. You introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about your swimming background and what your goals are, and just kind of, this is my first time swimming, or I'm an experienced swimmer, I'm a surfer, I'm a diver, I'm looking to, get more comfortable in the water, I need to learn to hold my breath, I want to overcome my fear of drowning, things like that. And then it is a breathing practice after all. So we do some upper regulatory breathing, which consists of a quick 1 second inhale through the nose and then a fast exhale out your mouth. So it's like a deep breath really quickly for 30 seconds. And what that's going to do is just kind of elevate your heart rate, get your lungs a little more expanded, kind of get some more flow and circulation through your body to kind of get your lungs expanded and prepared when we go underwater to start holding your breath. Then afterwards, we work on some breathing patterns to learn to slow your heart rate down, either called box breathing or triangle breathing. And essentially what that is, it's a 4 second inhale through your nose, 4 second holding your breath at the top, and then a 4 second exhale out your mouth, and another 4 second hold at the bottom. So you kind of think it's like a square in a box there. Then we'll do something called a CO2 burpee ladder, which consists of taking a deep breath in, exhaling, and then holding your breath, performing a burpee after you stand up from the burpee, then you'll exhale, and then you'll work your way up to 5 reps to demonstrate to the athletes that, if you're worried about holding your breath or trying to stay relaxed underwater, you're able to demonstrate that you're able to hold your breath as the workload increases by performing more repetitions of the burpees. So after we do the circle of trust and the breathing, then we go into the water. We talk about like the warm-ups. All the coaches, we have 4 locations in Southern California where we, review the workout of the day. If it's first timers or newcomers coming in, they have to pass the screener, which consists of 4 different exercises. You'll tread for 10 minutes. So to show that you have some endurance and stamina, you're comfortable in the water. Then you have to you have to perform a bob, which essentially is you exhale all the oxygen out your lungs. You're going to sink and submerge yourself all the way at the bottom. So, maybe for beginners or uncomfortable athletes, they're doing that maybe in the 5 or 6 feet so they can, just get their feet wet, feel more comfortable. But for someone who's a little more athletic or comfortable in the water already, they would perform it in the 13-foot pool. They would take their goggles off, perform the bob, retrieve the goggles with their eyes open, essentially underwater, and then get the goggles by using their mouth and picking it up in their mouth. So that way they can demonstrate that they can stay relaxed, that they're able to locate the surface if, their goggles get ripped off. And then they also have to perform a brick toe with a 10-pound brick above the water. So it's like a military combat side stroke where they perform 2 laps. They go down in one hand with the right hand and then come back with the left hand, swimming 2 laps. And then the last thing is to be underwater crossover, which is swimming. We swim in a 25-yard pool. So it's 1 lap underwater from wall to wall, completely underwater. And then we'll teach you how to do like a breaststroke kick and a dolphin kick, and then learning how to stay relaxed, stay focused, learn on slowing your breathing down, and working on economy of motion. So there's a lot of different principles behind that. And then the workouts will consist of like some sort of a warm-up, right? So maybe it's doing a few laps.
The warm-up.
No, that's the screener. So in order for you to participate, okay, it's almost like, if you have a new client coming in the gym, you want to almost assess their movement patterns or some sort of like fitness screener. It's just to make sure that they're comfortable and safe in the water.
Yeah.
They can move a little bit of resistance as well as holding their breath, and that they're, a somewhat proficient swimmer. You don't have to be an Olympic swimmer.
Yeah.
And then, like a typical workout will consist of like maybe some sort of swimming, do a few laps, then we'll go work on holding our breath, and then we'll incorporate the weight. So maybe it's a 25 sprint, climb out, do 10 push-ups or 10 sit-ups, and then some sort of underwater training, right? So we have a lot of people like doing the dumbbell walks, which essentially you'll take 2 dumbbells at the bottom of the pool and then try to walk a length underwater across. And then we have something kind of like a stimulated surfing type of workout, for example. So say you're surfing and you try to duck dive under the wave. Can you stay relaxed with all the turbulence? So what we do is we take our athletes, we kind of flip them and spin them around, and then they have to swim to the other side across the pool. So there's just little tips and tricks and drills to kind of simulate what it would be like in open swimming, or if our other program that we have is called the Underwater Torpedo League, which it's essentially like water polo but underwater, where it's a 5-on-5. There's a torpedo and you try to score goals on the bottom of the pool. Cool. So that gets really fun. Yeah. It's a great community. It's a lot of fun. It's a great way of cross training too. It's very low impact, and it's a good way to also like stimulate your mind in a different way. So
I want to ask you about the Torpedo League. How do you get into that? Is it just because you're around that community, that something's going on, and that last thing you just said about the lunging at the bottom of the pool, that just got my attention too. But I guess going back to the underwater torpedo, like how did you get into that, and how was it?
So the Deep End Fitness and the Underwater Torpedo League are like affiliates of each other. So the
Gotcha.
Deep End Fitness types of workouts and structured programs would help you get prepared for playing the Torpedo League. As I mentioned before, the 2 Marine Raiders who co-founded the program in the league, they had it, like, if you imagine you're at the pool with kids in the summertime, they have little torpedoes they throw around for fun. You swim under it. But this is I might have one in my bag, or I don't have it with me, but it's about a 3-foot torpedo. It glides pretty quickly, and you obviously can't communicate underwater, right? So there's a little bit of strategy before you go down, right? So you can think about almost like in soccer, you have kind of like forwards or attackers, like scorers, and then you have mids who are more like defenders who will play off the ball, and then you have defenders or almost like a goalkeeper in the back. And it's a great way to kind of, again, like instead of like, oh shit, I have to hold my breath for 15 or 30 seconds, if I can kind of stay more relaxed and almost think in a way of being fun of just throwing a little torpedo around. And it's like, it gets pretty chaotic, but creative at the same time with the terms of gameplay, the strategy, the execution. And the only way you can kind of really communicate is what we do is we clap underwater. So we can make a fist and then we make a palm in our hand to kind of listen. Like, if you're being double teamed on the left side, you listen for the clap and look for your teammate on the right side or something. But there's definitely a lot of strategy involved, and safety is the number one priority. That's paramount. But we've had all walks of life with former Olympians, professional big wave surfers, other just recreational collegiate swimmers, as well as jiu-jitsu fighters, NFL players have reached out to us. So it's a great way not only to get a good workout in, but to kind of train your mind.
That, and with the communication as well. So you like tap the fist, and then
right.
Is there, and like is there, are you allowed, how much contact is there allowed? Is it as much as like soccer, or my British people would kill me that football? Like what's the contact level like?
Yeah, so if Jacques, if you and I are swimming for it, I like, and you're a little faster than me, I'm not like
not likely, but
yeah, like I can't pull your legs to try to get an advantage to like get out of the way. But let's say you have contact with the torpedo in your hand, then I'm allowed to initiate contact. So again, safety is our number one priority, right? There's no like goggle ripping or choke holding or scratching, kicking, punching, anything like that. Almost like UFC, but in a sense, I can try to block you, right? So I can bear hug you, I can wrap you, I can put my arms around you, I can wrap my legs or wrap my arms under your arms. I'm essentially just trying to slow you down or prevent you from making a pass to your teammate. So if you can think of like football, if you're a running back and you have a lineman in front of you, he's creating a screen or a block for you. So that's legal, but only if you have possession of the torpedo. And it gets a little tricky sometimes, but only 2 players from my team and 2 players from your team can initiate contact. Or so let's say you and I are wrestling for the torpedo, right? And then it's almost like a tug of war. Your teammate can try to help you rip it out from my hands or try to push me off. And the same thing for my teammate can try to, push you out of the way or set a screen or block for me. So
but you can't have like the NFL, an offensive line of 6 people like blocking you to do a play. That's just 2 people from each team couldn't initiate in contact. Okay, that's
right.
Damn,
right.
That is no joke. I remember seeing some videos. I think I sent to these guys a little while back, and that one reason I wanted to get you on here, but I was like, damn, look at this. This is so intense. And that whole element, as you said, of sound is not muted, but almost non-present. And that's just something that you get with intensity, and whether it's working out or sports, that you kind of isn't as a key part. That's phenomenal, man. I haven't seen your videos. That's just, I can imagine how in shape I would be if I did that aerobically too, right? For holding your breath and
obviously
in New York. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Do you see a market for that type of, maybe not that sport specifically, but a market for the whole, deep end fitness here in the East Coast? I mean, you don't barely have any outdoor pools, at least that I know of around where I'm at least. But what do you think is a big reason why that's so successful over there on the West Coast?
That's a great question. So I know during the pandemic, they had a demo out in New York. I can't remember exactly where, but safety is the number one thing. I feel like when people look at this, they think of like underwater wrestling or hypoxic training, which essentially is trying to hold your breath. So there's sometimes a little bit of awareness and skepticism of like, we don't want people dying or drowning in our pool. So the co-founders, their initial goal was to try to get it in the Olympics, which I'm not saying it's not possible, but if, the kind of one way that helps the business is the selling the torpedoes and the goals online. So they have partnership with Amazon. People buy them, and if they're not physically in Southern California, they're able to purchase the torpedo. We've got a Free Your Mind guidebook, which is like a 8-week program to kind of help using some of the practices with FREE, which stands for focus, relax, economy, motion, efficient breathing, and then Be Safe, which is buddy system, slow and easy movements, apply natural buoyancy, full lung inflation, and extreme relaxation. Those are some of the principles that we talk about and we try to reiterate when you're performing the deep end fitness and playing the torpedo in order for you to excel and perform at a high level. So we have had some licensees partner up, and we had a pool open in Vermont, and then another pool in Miami, Florida, and then we're also working in Austin, Texas, Vegas, up in the Bay Area, and San Francisco, so, and also Arizona. So there's definitely some spark of interest, but it's just making sure that you have the right instructor and licensee promoting it and practicing and demonstrating the safety, running the type of workouts, having professionalism, things like that. And then obviously, I think the biggest takeaway is like finding a location, like you said, whether it's indoor or outdoors, making a pool that's at least 10 foot deep to host a type of training, like, whether you're at a D1 school with like a big diving well or something like that. So finding those types of brick and mortar opportunities. But, water is like an equalizer, right? So it doesn't matter how jacked or fast you run or great in shape, it definitely helps if you're a good swimmer or you're comfortable in the water, but water equalizes and it'll humble you pretty quickly, right? So one thing, if you pass that screener, you have to perform the bobs, which essentially is exhaling all the oxygen. You try to sink and submerge to the bottom. Someone like me who's a little heavier and negative buoyant, I'm able to sink to the bottom very easily. So that might be an advantage for me. But someone who might be a little more dense, or let's just say a little more body fat, for example, they're going to just float to the surface like a inflatable raft, and it's just going to be physically harder for them to sink to the bottom. So there's different little nuances and things like that can kind of, you don't want to turn anyone down, because this type of training and workout is for everyone. But if they want to increase their aerobic and anaerobic threshold, as well as move some weights, like you said, kind of work on breathing and building strength at the same time, it can be for everyone. So we also have like a kids program, promoting safety, like youth swimmers, how to get comfortable if they get trapped in like a current or something, if they're out surfing. So there's all different types of things to stay relaxed, or if you're free diving or you're a scuba diver, like what are these types of things you can practice mentally to stay relaxed in a stressful situation when you're doing these things. So
cool. In terms of demographics, I mean, you mentioned earlier how low impact it is because it is underwater. Do you find do you get clients that are older, that maybe can't do certain, can't squat or can't deadlift? I mean, I think without too much caution, because I think a lot of people that are older, some of them tend to deviate away from lifting because they don't want to hurt their back or they don't want to hurt their knees. Do you find that do you have older people that like to do this type of stuff?
Yeah, we've had all walks of life. Like I said, one of the licensee partners, he's about 50. He opened his other pool in Vermont. We've had some elder men and women who, either might have a back issue or deviated septum drums, I remember, in their ears. So going underwater with the amount of pressure that's above them hurts their ears. So we have to accommodate and kind of build special, make modifications for him. We've definitely had, like, I feel like maybe what you might see on Instagram, it might cater to like a young millennial X type of generation who's 20, 30s in shape, works out already. But there's definitely moms, dads, like families that participate, that do this. So I wouldn't say it's limited. And, the dumbbells that we do on the dry land would be, be simple things like lunges, push-ups, burpees. If you can kind of imagine you're in the pool, and instead of using the ladder to climb out, for example, you would it's almost like a muscle up where you would pull yourself out of the water and then push yourself onto the pool deck and then lower yourself back into the water. So we call that like a gutter up, or almost like a pull up into a dip, if you will. But the contact, or where people may or may not get hurt, is if you are playing the torpedo and you accidentally, get kicked in the face or someone elbows you, and it's not malicious or intentional. It's just people are trying to make contact and fight for possession. So, yeah, in terms of people getting hurt, it very rarely happens. Obviously, if you never know when your body's going to say, hey, I need oxygen, you need to come back to the surface. So we've, say, like, there might be an instance where someone blacks out by accident, but very rare that it does, because there's not enough CO2, or they're trying to push their body past. It's one thing you're trying to stay relaxed. It's another thing you have adrenaline pumping because you're all fired up, and then the next thing you know, you don't make it up to the surface or something. So,
Wow.
I had a question about the whole water situation. So if you have somebody who's not comfortable at all in the water, how have you gotten that, somebody who's just like really into it or interested, but they're not comfortable at all, and then taking them from not comfortable, not proficient swimmer to being able to do these classes and like kick ass? Or is it more likely that you'll have somebody who's relatively in shape and they're good in the water, and then they just kill it from there?
yeah, we've actually had a really awesome, successful story. This guy's name's Carlos. He trains up at one of our LA locations. He's got 3 kids. They're all like phenomenal surfers. So he's waterman. Like, he's got to take his kids to the beach for surf competitions. And when he was younger, in his like teens, he almost had a near-death drowning experience. So he came to us for guidance to learn how to be comfortable, so he can, like, take his kids out in the ocean, be with them in the water, surfing, things like that. And he was pretty terrified. He, essentially, we kind of had to hold his hand, but the way that we kind of promoted in a way is just, again, staying relaxed, staying focused, slowing your breathing down, lowering your heart rate by doing some of the breathing practices. And within 3-4 months, he was barely performing any of the exercises and the crossovers to, scoring goals and being competitive in the Torpedo League. So there's definitely success stories where someone who's, definitely very uncertain, not confident, very intimidated and timid, because it definitely is, when you look at it, especially online, it's like, this is fucking nuts. But all of our coaches are, experienced and want to make you, promote a positive shift, with training, with events, with community and things like that, to help really, be with them every step of the way. And, if someone doesn't pass a screener for the first time, whether it takes them 3 times, 10 times, we really try to make sure that we build that relationship and establish the trust that, if you come with me, we're going to help you touch the bottom, start swimming freestyle, hold your breath, and whatever you want to do, whether you want to, get jacked or be a better swimmer or whatever it is, like, we can accommodate your goals. It's just depending on what the individual attention, the customized like program that you'll need.
And how frequently do people pass the screener? Just like, of 10 people, if 10 people come in and you screen them, how many people are actually going to pass it on their first try? Because it seems pretty intense.
Yeah, I would say maybe 7 or 8 out of 10 will pass. Most people come in thinking like, oh, if I do this, I'm gonna learn how to swim. But you would definitely need to be somewhat of a proficient swimmer, or at least know how to like swim freestyle and backstroke and float. Like, you don't need to be an Olympic swimmer, but and that's again where we have like more customizable programs to help them. But yeah, I would say like about 70 or 80% who come and pass for the first time.
That's awesome. It's probably not going to be the same if you bring it over to New York. I'll say that much. But it looks like that base, it's insane. And I guess maybe you might have different areas too. Like you're saying, if you got some stuff in Texas or Vegas, maybe those guys are also very proficient. I don't know about New York though.
Well, I feel like there's everything in New York, right? You've got triathletes, right? You've got cyclists. I mean, even when I worked out with Jacques, there were people in the pool. Like, I feel like swimming is you might not have the most access to it, but people definitely, I think, take it importantly, especially as you get older, right? 'Cause it's great for your joints. It's pretty low impact. Yeah, it's just something about it. And I don't know. I grew up swimming all my life. I've been swimming since I was like 8 years old. I wish I played a different sport, but it really, help me stay in shape and take care of my body and stay healthy for the most part. So
it seems to be also a big mental health. I think, you know, it helps with mental health when it comes to, like you said earlier, people being afraid of, you know, being underwater, about the person that you mentioned and how he was scared to do that and how you guys helped him overcome it. And then when it comes to breathing, learning how to breathe, learning how to be comfortable, I think all that really carries over into, you know, mental health, uh, I guess, you know, systems that work for people, right?
yeah, there's more to it than just the physical aspect. Obviously, you're going to get a good heart rate or get a good workout, get your heart rate up, be more proficient in the water. But what really I think helps stand out is just being comfortable in those uncomfortable situations. Can I learn to hold my breath? Can I move efficiently across the pool? Can I have this objective of, you know, working together with someone else to score a goal? Or, you know, am I going to be confident enough to take my kids out into the pool if I'm not comfortable in the water? I don't want to have a fear of drowning, if like, or I don't want to fly if the plane crashes, things like that. So there's lots of ways that we want to help instill confidence and let them know that, you know, anything is possible with like the right guidance and, you know, having that belief, you know, like anyone can do squats and lunges and do a fancy workout at the gym, but can I hold my breath for 30 seconds and while I'm doing that, you know, add some resistance training underwater? So there's different little caveats that really I think kind of help separate us apart. And I'm sure you guys have heard of Laird Hamilton with XPT. He does something kind of similar, but it's a little more of a kind of like hot and cold stimulation, like you know, holding your breath, ice baths, sauna, things like that. But having more of the I don't want to say like functional training, but with the Torpedo League and everything, it kind of helps build more mental resilience. So
I think we would maybe some point in the future, hopefully, be able to come join you and see you do this in person. I don't know if we'd be able to all do it. I don't know if we'd want to. But
I gotta learn how to swim.
there you go.
But yeah. But based on what Kevin's saying, it sounds like this guy
Just throw me in there, man. And
yeah,
I'll learn eventually.
This could be this sounds like Kevin's
like David's been under there for a while, you know. Like,
David's been there for a couple of minutes now. I don't know if he's coming back, but I think that would be I mean, we've been saying for a while we want to go to do one of the Perform Better seminars in California, and you know it's typically been in Long Beach, and that's like a little closer to LA than closer to you than LA is. So maybe in some near future we'll be able to do that. But look, we want to respect your time. We know you have other commitments, but we want to thank you for coming on. I'm sure there's still a lot we haven't even opened up about your training history and your past and your ethic and all this stuff, but we want to respect your time. Thank you for coming on. For people who want to know more about you, where can they find out more of the information?
I guess you can just look me up on my Instagram. It's just my name, Kevin_NG___. Yeah, I want to thank you guys for inviting me. This is a lot of fun. I'm getting to know you guys. I look forward to doing this more. And yeah, I mean, I love movement. I love all types of movement. I love being outside. That's another reason why I went to California. And, you know, being able to talk with you guys and kind of pick apart your brains a little bit. I hope we get a chance to do this again, just to, you know, have fun and be a positive shift, whether it's lifting weights in the barbell or getting in the pool, skiing, anything you like to do. I would encourage you just to do it. And, you know, everything is a choice to choose to be happy and eat healthier and, you know, move your body. So, you know, it's never too late to start, and it's always good to ask for help and find some inspiration amongst yourselves. And yeah, I look forward to doing this again. So, and whenever you guys come out to California, I'd love for you guys to come out. Like I said, if you guys have any other leads or possible pools in New York, let me know, and maybe we'll try to set something up. The next time I'm there, I'll bring the Torpedo and we'll throw it around.
Oh man, we'd have to get practicing before Kevin comes, and we're like, oh no, we're so bad. We're like, oh, shit. But dude, it's been an absolute pleasure. So well said, by the way, about what you were in your closing, and then hopefully one day we do this in person as well. That'd be dope. But yeah, thank you again, man. We appreciate it. Seriously.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll look forward to doing it again, and you guys have a great weekend, and let's do it again more.
For sure. Take care, buddy. Have a good one. All right.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Take care, man.
Take care. Thanks,
Kevin.
Bye-bye.
All right, that was a sick interview.
I never heard of that guy or the sport or the thing. It was pretty cool.
That's really eye opening, right? I'm glad we got him on.
Yeah, it sounds a little bit similar to water polo, and I heard like water polo is aggressive, but anything in the water, I guess, is right. Like
This
if you're
sounds
competing
aggressive.
with water,
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's pretty cool, man.
That is pretty cool.
And
there's some similarities
to the torpedo toy thing. Looked like a little Nerf ball.
That's what it looks like. Yeah. He's posting videos, so we
wild.
should look it up on his Instagram. Maybe we'll post it. But yeah, it's phenomenal, man. It's like, but yeah, thanks guys for tuning in. We'll wrap this up and look forward to getting more guests on for you in the future. Be sure to check out our Instagram, our YouTube also if you want to see the visual, because again, Kevin was very expressive with his hand gestures, but he was a great guest to have on. And any other questions, thoughts, slide in our DMs, slide in David's DMs especially, and we'd love to hear some feedback.
Coming up with my OnlyFans soon.
Exactly.
Just let me know, and get subscribe. I'm kidding. I'm joking. Maybe, I don't know.
All right, guys.
Bye, guys.
Ciao.
See ya.